You think your camera body is holding you back. You scroll through forums at midnight, convincing yourself that the latest sensor will finally unlock your creativity. But here's the truth nobody wants to admit. You're chasing the wrong upgrade. What actually transforms your images isn't the body, it's the glass you mount on it. The lens is where light bends, where bokeh is born, where sharpness lives or dies. A 5-year-old camera with exceptional glass will obliterate a brand new body stuck with mediocre kit zoom every single time. Today we're counting down 7 lenses that will improve your photography more than any $2,000 body upgrade ever could. We're starting at number 7 and working our way to a lens so legendary, so character-rich, that it's changed entire creative careers. And stick around. Because later in the video, I'm going to show you the one piece of gear that actually keeps these heavy lenses stable and makes your workflow 10 times faster. You don't want to miss that. This is Alt Buzz, where we cut through the marketing noise and show you what actually matters. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because you don't want to miss this. At number 7, we have the Canon RF 50mm f1.8 STM. The lens that changes everything for Canon shooters just starting to understand what intentional photography actually means. The classic nifty 50, the gateway drug. If you've only ever shot with a kit lens, you've been working with compromised glass. Variable apertures that close down as you zoom, muddy corners, flat, uninspiring bokeh. Then you mount this 50mm prime, and suddenly your subject separates from the background like they're floating in a different dimension. That creamy blur behind your subject? That's what f1.8 buys you. That's what makes viewers pause and ask what camera you're using. When really, it's the lens doing all the heavy lifting. This isn't exotic glass. It's small, lightweight, affordable at around $240. But it teaches you composition in ways a zoom never will. You can't zoom to fix a boring angle. You have to move your feet. You have to think about distance, about light, about framing. It forces intentionality, and that discipline transforms photographers faster than any megapixel count ever could. The RF 50mm 1.8 is where you learn that shallow depth of field isn't a gimmick. It's a creative tool. Use it to isolate eyes in a portrait. Use it to blur distractions in street photography. Use it to make your subject feel like the only thing that matters in the frame. Because when you nail focus at f1.8, everything else melts away. The autofocus is fast and silent, perfect for video work where focus breathing would ruin a shot. The build quality feels solid despite the plastic construction, and the size means you'll never hesitate to throw it in your bag. This is the lens that breaks you free from kit zoom mediocrity. This is where intentional photography begins. At number 6, we have the Sigma 16mm f1.4 DCDN. This is the lens that redefines what vlogging and documentary work can look like on crop sensor cameras. Most vloggers default to kit zooms or cheap wide angles that fall apart in low light. They crank their ISO, introduce noise, and blame their camera. But mount the Sigma 16mm, and suddenly you're shooting in dim cafes, golden hour streets, moody interiors, all while keeping your face tack sharp and your background beautifully blurred. That f1.4 aperture isn't just about bokeh, it's about gathering light, about keeping your footage clean when the sun drops. This lens is sharp corner to corner, even wide open. It's built like it costs twice its asking price of around $540. And because it's designed for APS-C sensors, the equivalent field of view on crop is roughly 24mm full frame. Wide enough to show context, narrow enough to keep distortion natural. Here's what changes when you use this lens. You stop worrying about lighting conditions. You start shooting in environments that used to be off limits. You capture genuine moments instead of staged setups under harsh daylight. The Sigma 16mm doesn't just let you vlog, it lets you vlog with cinematic intention, with depth, with character. And when you play back that footage, you'll see the difference immediately. The physical aperture ring gives you tactile control, the kind of feedback that makes manual exposure adjustments feel intuitive. Sigma's build quality means weather-sealed construction and metal barrel that inspires confidence on location shoots. And this lens handles contrast beautifully, rendering highlights and shadows with nuance that cheaper glass can't match. It's the difference between vlogging and creating visual stories people actually want to watch. At number 5, we have the Fujifilm XF 27mm f2.8R WR, a pancake lens so small, so unassuming, that it changes your relationship with photography entirely. Most lenses make your camera conspicuous. They draw attention. They feel heavy after an hour of walking. But this 27mm, you can slide your entire camera setup into a jacket pocket. You can shoot street photography without looking like you're shooting. You become invisible, and invisibility is power when you're capturing authentic moments. In the focal length on Fujifilm's crop sensor translates to roughly 40mm equivalent. That's close to how your eye sees the world. No exaggerated wide-angle drama, no compressed telephoto isolation, just natural perspective, natural framing, natural storytelling. It's the lens Henri Cartier-Bresson would have used if he shot digital. And here's the thing about portability. It changes behavior. When a camera feels like a burden, you leave it home. When it disappears in your pocket, you bring it everywhere. Birthday dinners, late-night walks, random Tuesday afternoons. Those are the moments that matter. The moments that become your most treasured images. Not the planned photo shoots, the unplanned life. The Fujifilm 27mm teaches you that gear minimalism isn't compromise, it's liberation. Here's the weather-resistant construction means you don't baby it in light rain or dusty conditions. The image quality rivals lenses 3 times its size, with Fujifilm's legendary color science making every JPEG sing straight out of camera. This lens turns your camera into something you forget you're carrying until the perfect moment appears. That's when muscle memory takes over, and you capture what actually matters. At number 4, we have the Sigma 85mm f1.4D GDN Art. This is the lens that makes subjects pop off the screen like they exist in 3 dimensions. Compression is everything in portraiture. When you shoot with a wide lens close to your subject, you flatten their features, distort their proportions, destroy the magic. But step back with an 85mm, and suddenly their face has depth. Their nose doesn't stretch, their features balance. The background compresses into creamy, dreamlike blur that makes them the undeniable center of attention. That f1.4 aperture creates separation so dramatic, it feels cinematic. Focus on your subject's eyes and the background dissolves into pure color and light. No distractions, no competing elements. Just your subject, floating in visual poetry. This is the look that clients pay for, the look that makes portfolios legendary. Now, this lens isn't cheap. At over $1,320, it's an investment. And it's not lightweight. But here's the trade-off. When you nail the shot with this glass, you don't need Photoshop magic. You don't need filters or presets. The image quality is so good, so rich, so three-dimensional that it justifies every rupee. If you're serious about portraits, if you want your work to compete with editorial fashion and high-end commercial photography, the Sigma 85mm art is non-negotiable. This is where you stop looking like an enthusiast and start looking like a professional. The micro contrast and color rendering gives skin tones a luminous quality that cheaper lenses simply cannot replicate. Eye autofocus locks with precision that feels almost telepathic, tracking your subject even through subtle movements. The bokeh rendering shows Sigma's optical engineering at its peak, with smooth out-of-focus areas free of harsh edges or nervous transitions. This is glass that elevates everything it touches, turning good portraits into gallery-worthy images. Now, speaking of heavy glass, like this Sigma 85mm, getting a sharp lens is only half the battle. If your camera is shaking, that sharpness is wasted. That brings me to the sponsor of today's video, the SIRUI SQ75 Rapid System Tripod. If you've been following the channel, you know I value efficiency. And this isn't just a tripod, it's a problem solver. The biggest pain with traditional tripods is those annoying leg latches. You have to undo 3 different locks just to change the height. The SQ75 fixes that with its one-step height adjustment. You just flip one lever, and the entire leg extends or retracts instantly. For run-and-gun shooters or solo creators like me, this feature alone saves so much time on location. It's built with high-grade carbon fiber, so it's incredibly light to carry but strong enough to support heavy cinema rigs. Plus, and the fluid head is broadcast level smooth, perfect for those slow, cinematic pans we all love. If you are investing in good lenses, you owe it to yourself to invest in good support. The SQ75 gives you that pro-level stability without the bulk. I've linked the full details and the best price for the SIRUI SQ75 in the description below and in the pinned comment. Highly recommended for your kit. Before we reveal the top 3, let me tell you about something we built for serious creators. Head over to altbuzzmedia.com for in-depth lens guides, real-world comparisons, and gear advice you won't find anywhere else. And if you want to go deeper, join our membership community for early access to new uploads and more. Links are in the description. Now back to the countdown. At number 3, we have the Tamron 28 to 75mm f2.8 III VXD G2. This is the workhorse zoom that working photographers actually rely on. Here's the problem with primes. They're limiting. You can't zoom, you have to swap lenses constantly. You miss shots while fumbling with lens caps. But here's the problem with most zooms, they're slow. Variable apertures that close down as you zoom in, soft corners, compromised image quality. The Tamron 28 to 75 solves all of it. Constant f2.8 across the entire range. Sharp wide open, fast near silent autofocus, weather sealing, and a focal range that covers environmental portraits at 28mm all the way to flattering headshots at 75. You can shoot a wedding, a corporate event, a documentary project, all without changing glass. This lens doesn't ask you to choose between versatility and quality. It delivers both. The rendering is gorgeous. The bokeh is smooth. The autofocus locks instantly, even in dim conditions. And because it's Tamron, it's available for Sony E-mount and Nikon Z-mount and other systems, making it accessible no matter what body you shoot. When you're working fast-paced environments, when the light is changing, when moments are fleeting, you need glass you can trust without thinking. The Tamron 28 to 75 is that lens. It's the reason pros say, if I could only own one lens, this would be it. The VXD autofocus motor is whisper quiet and lightning fast, perfect for hybrid shooters who need reliable performance in both stills and video. My image stabilization works in concert with in-body systems for shake-free handheld work, even at slower shutter speeds. The zoom ring has just the right amount of resistance, neither too loose nor too stiff for smooth focal length changes during recording. This is the lens that earns its place in your bag every single day, never leaving you wishing you'd brought something else. At number 2, we have the Sony FE 90mm f2.8 Macro G OSS. This is the lens that forces you to see differently. Macro photography isn't just about flowers and insects. It's about revealing the invisible, the grain of weathered wood, the crystalline structure of frost, the intricate mechanics inside a watch, the iris patterns in someone's eye. These are the details our brains filter out, the microscopic worlds hiding in plain sight. Mar and this 90mm macro brings them into focus with surgical precision. At 1:1 magnification, you're capturing subjects at actual life size on your sensor. That's close, that's intimate, that's breathtaking when you see it on screen. And because this lens is also optically stabilized, you can handhold shots that would normally require a tripod. The image stabilization fights the micro shake that ruins macro work, letting you capture razor-sharp images even at magnifications where breathing moves the frame. But here's the secret. This lens isn't just for macro work. At 90mm, it doubles as an exceptional portrait lens. The compression is beautiful, the bokeh is creamy, the sharpness is clinical, so you're getting 2 lenses in one. A portrait powerhouse and a macro specialist that opens creative doors you didn't know existed. When you start shooting macro, you'll never walk past a textured surface the same way again. You'll see stories in rust, beauty in decay, art in the mundane. The Sony 90mm macro doesn't just change your photography, it changes how you see the world. The optical design delivers edge-to-edge sharpness that reveals microscopic details with startling clarity, every fiber and texture rendered with precision. The minimum focusing distance lets you fill the frame with subjects smaller than your thumbnail while maintaining perfect sharpness. G-series optics means superior contrast and color fidelity even in challenging lighting where lesser glass would struggle. This lens trains your eye to find beauty in the overlooked, the forgotten, or the hidden worlds that exist just millimeters from our everyday vision. And now number 1, we have the Helios 44-258mm f2, the lens that embodies everything Alt Buzz stands for. The lens that proves character matters more than clinical perfection. A Soviet-era legend that refuses to die. This lens is old, it's manual focus. It's wildly inconsistent from copy to copy, and it produces some of the most hauntingly beautiful images you'll ever create. The secret is the swirly bokeh. When you shoot backlit subjects with distant foliage or lights, the out-of-focus areas spiral into dreamy, almost hypnotic patterns. It's not technically perfect. It's not clinically sharp edge to edge, but it has soul. Modern lenses are designed by computers to eliminate aberrations, to render everything cleanly. The Helios does the opposite. It imposes style. It adds vintage warmth, subtle glow, and that signature swirl that makes images feel like they belong in a different era. Shooting with the Helios is like collaborating with the glass instead of controlling it. And here's the beautiful part. You can adapt this lens to almost any modern mirrorless camera. M42 mount adapters are cheap and plentiful. So whether you shoot Sony, Fujifilm, Canon, Nikon Z, you can experience this legendary glass. The cost? Often less than $50 if you hunt used markets. That's less than a decent lens filter for what might become your most used creative tool. Yes, manual focus takes practice. Yes, the aperture ring is stepless and requires intention. But that's the point. The Helios forces you to slow down, so to nail exposure in camera, to focus deliberately. It strips away automation and reconnects you with the fundamentals of light and composition. And when you nail the shot, when that swirly bokeh frames your subject perfectly, you'll understand why this lens has cult status decades after production ended. The Helios 44-2 isn't about specs. It's about vision. It's about embracing imperfection as style. It's about images that feel human, emotional, timeless. That's why it's number 1. The radioactive thorium glass elements give colors a unique warmth that digital correction can never quite replicate authentically. Sample variation means every copy has slightly different character, making your Helios truly unique to you. The metal construction feels substantial and mechanical in ways modern plastic fantastic lenses never will. This is glass with history, with stories embedded in its optical formula, a time capsule from Soviet optics factories that accidentally created art. So there you have it. 7 lenses that will transform your photography faster and more dramatically than any camera body ever could. From the Canon RF 50mm that teaches composition, to the Sigma 16mm that conquers low light, to the Fujifilm pancake that disappears in your pocket. From the Sigma 85mm that delivers cinematic portraits, to the Tamron 28-75 that replaces your kit, to the Sony 90mm macro that reveals hidden worlds. And finally, the Helios 44-2, the vintage legend that proves soul beats specs. Remember the mantra, date the body, marry the lens. Bodies become obsolete, sensors get replaced. But great glass is forever. Which of these 7 lenses do you already own? And which one are you saving up for next? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read every single one, and your lens stories fuel future videos. And don't forget to check out the SIRUI SQ75 link below if you want to upgrade your studio setup. It's a game changer for stability. If this video saved you from another pointless body upgrade, hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications, because we're just getting started with gear truth-telling. Head over to altbuzzmedia.com for extended lens reviews and buying guides. Join our membership for exclusive content and direct community access. Links are right there in the description. And if this video genuinely helped you, consider leaving a super thanks. It directly supports the channel and keeps this content free for everyone else. Thank you for watching. Thank you for trusting Alt Buzz to guide your gear decisions. Now get out there, mount some better glass, and create images that matter.